VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. I would call today's show eclectic, right?
Yes.
We use that word once in a while to describe the guest, Jeff Davis, 30 Minutes, NHL, here at Circa Sports, one of the managers here at the book. And he might give out a couple of futures for the College World Series. How do you like that? Because come June, people are going to be saying, why didn't anybody bring up Mississippi State at 150-1? Well, Jeff Davis might do that today. Steve Wiss on soccer, Lou Finocchiaro later on the UFC, and Stanford Steve on the Super Bowl. The guide came out today here at VSiN. The big game betting guide, Paulie. Steve Makinen has incredible numbers in here. He also simulated the box score. He has been, by the way, terrific with his simulated box score over the last 4 years. I think overall 6-2 side and totals. Last year with that wonky final of 25-22, he almost pegged the exact score. He had 26-21 Chiefs. You can go find it, get the guide today. But I will give you a couple of historical trends in the Super Bowl that you're also going to find in the betting guide. Did you know that the team in this game with the better overall record is 30-20 straight up all time, but has lost 12 of the last 14, and they are on a 1-16 ATS skid since 2004. Chiefs, obviously, they have a better record than the Eagles this year.
That is strong. Great stuff.
The team that is the better playoff seed is also 2-16-2 ATS in the last 28 Super Bowls. You're going to say, well, hold on, 2-16-2, that's only 20. Where are you getting 28 from? Sometimes the seeds will be the same, and sometimes the team will have the same record.
Mm-hmm.
So Kansas City, 15-2 in the regular season. Philadelphia, the 2 seed, 14-3. It has not gone well, to say the least, for the team with the better record. That's astonishing to me.
It is, yeah. That blew my mind.
Underdogs in the Super Bowl, 73.9% over the last 23 years, including 13-4 ATS in the last 17. Again, Chiefs, small favorite here in this game against the Eagles coming up next Sunday.
We've been blessed. We go back to when we were growing up and we were kids. This game was always a blowout, and it was usually over by the second quarter. And it was about the Bud Light halftime and the Puppy Bowl, whatever. And now how this has changed, and it's been great. We've had a lot of great games here going back and close games.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl is always disappointing.
It was,
when we were younger.
Yeah.
And the NFC used to dominate every single year, and there used to be blowouts for the most part.
Yeah, Bills would get in there, get embarrassed. Broncos and Elway would get in there, get embarrassed, right?
Yep. I get these numbers are not the be-all, end-all. It's just it caught my attention today reading the Pro Football Betting Guide again for the Super Bowl out today, VSiN.com. Teams that allowed fewer points per game during the regular season, they are 8-1 straight up, 7-2 ATS last 9 Super Bowls. Philadelphia allowed fewer points than KC this year. Just below 18 points per game. KC allowed about 19.2. And teams that generated more yardage overall offensively in the regular season, no edge when it comes to the Super Bowl. 2-11 straight up, 1-12 ATS last 13 games. The edge here goes to Philadelphia. Quite frankly, not close. They averaged 367 yards per game in the regular season. Chiefs only 327.5. But, again, the team that averaged fewer yards per game in the regular season, that angle says Chiefs here, they've done well in this game.
I don't put much stock into the Fangio stuff, history against Mahomes.
Neither do I.
I'm with you, but also thanks to the emails and tweets, though, pointing out, which I forgot 2 years ago, the field was a mess, and the DBs were on skates, and maybe that played a big role into what happened in the second half with Philly not being able to stop Mahomes.
Also saw this on social media. Ralph Michaels has been in this racket for a long, long time. He had a great tweet looking at the last 15 Super Bowls, and he sends this out every single year with basically how these props have trended. How about this? The team to score last has won 15 straight games. And I have not seen that number yet. at a sports book. It used to be around minus 135.
Yeah,
I think
Caesars,
that number is long gone.
Sorry, Caesars has it. I forgot the price.
Okay.
Yeah.
But 15 straight.
Mm-hmm. I think last year it lost team to score first win the game. That lost with the Niners too, and that's a nice plus price if you bet that.
You like to attack games, big games, like no score first 5.5 first 6. Is that your plan in this game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they offer everything with this one though. 3.5, 4.5.
Sure.
Yep.
The score in the first 6 minutes, 7-1 to the no, last 8 Super Bowls. 0-0 has been the winning first quarter score in 5 of the last 10 Super Bowls. Now, how about this? 14 straight teams have won the coin toss and deferred. The Saints were the last team to receive against Indianapolis.
Oh, good.
So that will be out there too, right? The team that wins the coin toss, what will they do? Will they defer or will they receive? That prop, it's probably out there already. I just haven't seen it yet. But 14 straight?
What would you do if you're Sirianni? You want the ball? Or you try to stop Mahomes right? I'm sure he'll defer, but I'm trying.
I like the idea of deferring. What did Michael Lombardi, former host here for many years on VSiN, always preach? The middle 8 minutes are so important. So I think that if you could somehow find a way to get the ball back with around 4 minutes to go in the second quarter, the same team that's getting the ball after halftime, so you're going to get the ball to begin there, hence the middle 8, I think that's too big to pass up. I think that's better than having the ball early on. A run was the first play in 5 of the last Super Bowls. Before that, the pass cashed 4 straight. A safety cashed 3 years in a row, going back to the Giants-Patriots, Ravens, 49ers, and, of course, the Broncos-Seahawks when that game started off with a safety and sportsbooks got murdered on that prop. The no safety has been a winner in 10 straight Super Bowls since.
Interesting.
But always a very big number and always one of the most popular bets made by pro bettors.
Yeah. Caesars has first play of the game over under 3.5 yards. And that goes back to what Andy Iskoe has been saying, although he's off it now, but it was bet both quarterbacks first pass incomplete.
Incomplete, you're going to get 2 to 1 or more. Mm-hmm. And if you hit one of them, you're going to be a winner.
Some lunatic bet today $100 at Caesars on 7-5 Eagles first quarter score to win 20,000.
7-5.
7-5, you bet. Yeah.
Well, the 5 can be there 2 different ways, right? In theory, the safety and the field goal would be the obvious one. Well, you could do it multiple ways, but you could also score a touchdown, go for 2, get it, and then score a touchdown and kick the extra point. Is anybody that mad? Would Sirianni do that? Right? Because it could be a Chiefs penalty.
It could be a penalty.
On the extra point, Eagles then do the tush push from the 1 yard line. Mm-hmm. They get it. There's the angle.
Yeah.
I like where that guy's head's at.
Okay.
Now, you bet this one earlier, too, right? Successful 2-point conversion.
Uh-huh.
The no was 6-1 last 7. But I also feel like that's just completely random.
Yeah, probably. But I think there's so much opportunity here in this game.
Sure, there you go.
With what we have. But also, maybe you're better off betting just the attempt. And you get small plus price on just the attempt. But
right.
I think they can get it done in this game.
You know, I went back and looked today, too. Like the last, I want to say since the year 2000, so we'll call it the last 25 Super Bowls, there is that narrative out there that the Super Bowl halftime show takes so long that these teams are going to be cold and rusty coming out, so not a lot happens. I did like a cursory glance today. Got to tell you, it's the exact opposite. Third quarters have been, I'm not going to call them like super explosive, but if you're expecting like low scoring under that third quarter number, the total, or like 0-0, that doesn't happen that often. I'll have more numbers either tomorrow on the show for the third quarter specifically, or probably next week, that kind of made me raise an eyebrow looking at the numbers.
Interesting.
Because that thought is, what do we have, like a 40-minute halftime show?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But we've had some points, man, scored in that time. Where are you at overall with your number of bets at this point? You were really on fire at the end of the show yesterday.
Yeah, I got like 20. We'll see what it is all said and done, how we get up there. But, hey, and the big nights tonight. You know, the Westgate comes out with their huge packet. And it's always a who's who of the pro bettors and people who like to do this stuff. And probably Frank B is in town. And
he is.
Go down, Rufus Peabody and everyone going down to the Westgate. And Jay Cornegay was always the king of the castle doing this, even when he was at the old IP and bringing his game to the Westgate. Now John Murray runs it. It's awesome to see everything they come out in the packet. Ed does a great job. Jeff Sherman, everyone over there. And they'll do that tonight at 7, and we'll get a recap of everything that was bet, what moved, and what they were thinking with Jeff. Tomorrow he's on with Matt Humans following us. So it's a big night, and that's fun. And I'm sure the creativity and imagination will be off the charts tonight, and we'll add some more stuff after their, 200 pages?
Whatever, yeah, it's
whatever
crazy.
it is, it's great. Yeah.
I mean, to give them credit again, because they were always, you're exactly right, for many, many years, like they were the first to post them all up on a Thursday night. And, it was a pro bettor's dream to come in town and then, get in line and then make 2 bets and go to the back line and make some more bets. The cross-sport props that they come up with are still that's the industry standard, because they will have probably a couple of pages at least of tying in passing yards overall in this game to the combined score of the winning golfer at the Waste Management. I mean, it's brilliant stuff they come up with, and not every year do I make bets on them because they're tough and the numbers, might be pretty good overall. But sometimes you might find one that you're like, that's interesting. I think it can go this way, and I like that bet.
Yeah. Frank B. mentioned it last year. I think it was touchdowns in the Super Bowl against the goals in the bean pot.
Yes.
And he thought he had something there, too. It's great. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or just joining the action, Super Bowl success starts with the VSiN Super Bowl betting guide. It's packed with everything you need to make informed wagers, the preview, the top trends, what Mackinnon has, as we talked about, final score predictions, MVP picks from everyone. Don't wait. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. As little as $9.99. Get your copy of the guide, VSiN.com/subscribe. Sign up now. I went 30-28 Chiefs and went Kelsey MVP. VSiN.com/subscribe. Oh, boy, we stepped into something today, my friend.
Yeah. Imagine signing a 4-year, $100 million deal, and now you're under investigation. Details on that coming up here on VSiN.
Those were wild times. Betting squares for the big game has come a long way.
Now with the Circa Sports app, you can select your Circa squares right at your fingertips.
Everyone's played traditional squares at a big game watch party. Here at Circa Sports, we do it a whole lot better.
Select your own squares and as many as you want.
A $1 minimum bet and a $100,000 maximum payout.
And best of all, no more arguing over the squares.
Circa Squares brought to you by Circa Sports, the world's largest sports book at your fingertips.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next A Numbers Game, I, Gil Alexander, am going to be out of town, but Joe Serralo will be filling in ably. A Taylor Fritz lookalike for you ladies, by the way. Check him out. He'll be filling in along with Kelly, of course. They'll do their whole smattering of Super Bowl props. Plus, they'll have guests, as we always do, Paul Carr on a bit of a soccer heater to talk Premier League with us. And Dallin Cuff from ESPN on college hoops and soccer as well. It's A Numbers Game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
If you haven't heard of the story yet today, there is a reason why we are bringing up the name Terry Rozier. It's not just a random occurrence here today on the program. Like, I love his player prop tonight. Not happening. Terry Rozier has been in the NBA for more than a decade. He has averaged 14 points per game in those 11 years. His career earnings, you don't even want to know. More than $130 million. And his recent contract is, 4 years, $100 million?
He's halfway through that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so what's the story that came out today, Paul?
Federal prosecutors have been investigating whether Rozier manipulated his performance as part of an illegal sports betting scheme. It's part of a wider government probe into a ring of gamblers and poker players who have allegedly rigged games across the sports landscape. Wall Street Journal broke the story. The same investigation led to a criminal charge and lifetime ban from Jonte Porter. Now, 5 people have been charged, and 3 have pled guilty. So you wonder,
already?
Yeah, if they have the goods here, would they roll over and sing on Rozier potentially? Authorities believe some of the people who arranged for Porter to fix his performance in 2 games last season had inside info that prompted them to bet large sums of money against Rozier a year earlier. The game in question is March 23rd, 2023. The difference here is this guy was making $500,000. No one knew who he was. Porter, as you said, 4-year, $100 million deal, and all the money he's made. Authorities also are exploring if it ties to college basketball, and they think they could tie into what happened with the Temple nonsense last year. What was going on when those were going crazy. First halves, it was something we haven't seen before.
So the whole gambling ring would have been around Rozier, Temple, and maybe some other stuff as well.
Yeah. He hasn't been charged with a crime or accused of wrongdoing. It couldn't be learned if investigators have determined whether he deliberately helped bettors. In March 2023, the NBA was alerted to unusual betting activity related to his props. They conducted an investigation, did not find a violation of NBA rules. He's on the Hornets. The betting on Rozier was strange enough that day to raise alarms at U.S. integrity. They notified sportsbooks and the NBA that unusual wagers were coming in on Rozier to go under his benchmarks. He was a 21-5-4 guy at that time. Some sportsbooks stopped accepting bets on his stats that day as well. During the previous 2 seasons, U.S. Integrity sent out just 3 alerts about NBA games. 2 of them were games involving Porter. The other one was Rozier. He started that night, was good to go. Was one of their best players, averaging 35 minutes and 21 a game. What do you think happened?
2 of 14 from the field?
He left the game with an injury.
Even better.
After 9 minutes. He came out with a foot injury, didn't return. It was at the back end of the season. They were a bad team. I'm sure there was something tied in with draft picks, ping pong, lottery odds, whatever. He did miss the final 8 games of the season. But maybe it was speculation he could, if you play in that game, about, hey, I know I'm hurt. I'll come out here maybe, give it a go for the first 9 minutes, and then that'll do it. Or it was, okay, well, listen, you're not feeling well. You left with a foot injury. We're just going to shut you down anyways. It's at the end of the season, and they were struggling. Sports bettors noticed after what happened, conspiracy theorists running wild about it was odd and sketchy and what happened, that the guy comes in, plays 9 minutes, and then bam, out he goes. But this guy, as you said, a long career in the league, $100 million and averaging more than 28 minutes a game with the Heat as well. This was nuts. And I go back to my argument, interview, whatever you want to call it, All-Star Weekend 2007 with David Stern, when I said, you shouldn't be worried about anything. We should get a pro sports team. It's impossible to fix a game. These guys are making so much money. He didn't like the question, whatever. But at the time, though, as he was condescending toward me, he knew. We didn't know yet. But the FBI was following Donaghy around.
That's right.
But this is wild that you would think, if this is true, what could happen? Maybe more to the story. The Porter thing, I could see it. This, 4 years, $100 million. Oh, man.
This is unreal. I mean, again, his career earnings to date, according to one website, is $133 million. That doesn't even include all of this 4 years, $100 million. that he's in the middle of right now. So what's the thing? What's the issue here then? Because Porter, you're right. He's probably wanting to strike and make a quick rich scheme here, making only $500,000, and he figures, hey man, if I can manipulate my playing time and hit a couple of big parlays, that's going to basically give me what I'm making full season.
Yeah. Porter also was in deep with some debts too, but yeah,
right,
got that, yeah.
So with Rozier making that much money, are you just bored? Is that the point that you get to in your life when you make that much money and you need some excitement? Like, it doesn't do it for me anymore. Playing in the league for a decade, yawn. I need some more excitement, or something along the lines of, this guy's always been willing to gamble a little bit, and he has that itch. I don't think this happens overnight, Paul.
Yeah, I don't know,
dude. Making that basically on average $25 million a year, you're going to get approached by people who can get down large sums on parlays and other props, and you're going to say, yeah, that sounds good to me. What?
Remember the Seinfeld episode where Costanza sleeps with the sleeping lady, with the cleaning lady, and then he pleads, was that wrong? Should I not have done that? It kind of goes back to maybe you don't realize how bad it is at the time, or you think, because remember when you see all these scams and all these incidents in college basketball, a lot of the times, and remember Headache Smith at Arizona State, the comeback was, hey, it didn't sound that bad at the time. We could still win. We just didn't have to cover. Or, we could do that. It wasn't a big deal. We were still winning the game. But here, maybe he's just thinking, I'm going to help out a friend, whatever. Hey, okay, I'll throw you a bone. Hey, I'm going to come out and leave with an injury at the time. Maybe, I don't know. But it goes...
That's also college compared to a guy who's been in the league for 10 years.
Yeah, sure. But remember Calvin Ridley. How many guys have we had in the NFL where, I made a bet, I was in the facility? Is this frowned upon? I got a 6-game suspension. I mean, how many times do we have this stuff happen where guys would just make stupid mistakes and Ridley's betting parlays, though?
I would also, but the Ridley thing never even bothered me, really.
Okay.
He's making same game parlays. Do I have this right? Was he hurt at the time? Or was it not quite at that point, and then they gave him the full year suspension? Regardless, he was making parlays on the NFL. Okay, whatever. That's not a big deal compared to something like this.
Yeah, right.
No, this is like blackballed for the rest of your life. And, probably if he's guilty, I mean, you're looking at some severe jail time. And I'd say rightfully so, by the way. The thing, again, you're making that much. But this is why, again, your question to David Stern that, many years ago, we all just assumed that these players are making so much money that they would realize, I'm not going to be stupid and get involved with some sort of a gambling ring, right?
I know.
But that also probably chalks up to this guy, the IQ overall here might be a little bit low.
Well, and they're going to grab you, too. So, in addition to Porter, 5 other men have been criminally charged, and 3 have already pled guilty. Wow. We just had the incident 2 weeks ago. David Purdom was on the show. They grabbed the guy out here at the airport. He was going to Colombia with $10,000 on him.
Right.
And he was the guy who was like, Porter told him, don't say anything. Keep it on the down low, and this guy's texting all his buddies.
Singing like a canary.
I got all this info. Hey, Porter's going to leave with an injury tonight. Let's go.
Hey, buddy, why are you going to go to Colombia?
Yeah, but also...
I need my teeth fixed.
Yes, right. But it also goes back to, these poker players and what they're doing in this group about they're getting into college and Temple and the UAB thing. And it also goes back about, you're trying to have someone come over here. Don't want to make any sudden movements. Annoying. The one guy's betting an $80,000 same-game parlay to pay $1 million, and that triggered set off the alarms, too. It's like, what are you doing?
Now, was that with Rozier? That was Porter.
That was Porter.
Yeah,
that was Porter. But, but tied into the other guy, too, about... the Rozier thing I could see in terms of I'm betting Rozier stuff under, but you gotta hit it here, hit it there, hit it a couple times. It goes back. You walk up to the window, say, "Give me this for $200," and hit it again until you run out of paper. It's not $80,000 same game parlays like what they were doing with Porter, but also but with Rozier, you're right. If you're gonna say I didn't even know who the guy was, but you're saying give me the Porter stuff under heavy. The Rozier stuff, at least, okay, there could be an angle there. The guy's 21-5-4 and a known player and had a good career. Maybe just think, all right, that whatever it is, they could shut him down and not going to have a good game. But
I'll give you an example. I bet an NBA, one specific player, his props tonight, like I have inside information. I don't. I'm taking a shot with it because I think the angle absolutely exists for him to go off in this game. But, I'll give you details on who that is coming up a little bit later on in the show.
I knew where it was going when I started with the story. I go, I'll bet your ass he left with an injury.
He left with an injury?
9 minutes in, foot injury.
There you go.
Now, the thing that helps him out is he didn't play the rest of the season. But Was there stuff with shenanigans there? And
that could also be like, I don't care what you guys tell me, my ankle's not right. He could be lying.
That too. Yeah, I know. A lot of layers to it. A lot of layers. In sports betting and trading, probability is key to success. Discover the power of high probability trading with Todd Bubba Horowitz, former floor trader and sports bettor, 45 years of experience. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Get a free ebook on options trading and use code VSiN500 to save $500 on any purchase now. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN.
I'm not exactly buying. Hey, I've been in the NBA for 10 years. What's this sports betting thing? Oh, I'm interested. Jeff Davis, manager here at Circa Sports, on the program coming up next. We'll kick around the NHL card and buckle up future numbers that he likes potentially here to win the College World Series.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Paulie likes to describe our next guest as his favorite trader. Okay, good enough for me. Jeff Davis joins the program here. He is on the Progressive Guest Line, manager at Circa Sports behind the book. Good afternoon, Jeff. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Hey, guys. Pretty good. Long time.
Yep. We'll kick around some NHL and maybe a future bet that you like as well to win the College World Series. Tonight, I guess the Wild have won 17 out of their last 18 against the Canadiens, and also there might be an angle here where it could be Marc-Andre Fleury's last ever game in Montreal, the area of the world, of course, where he is from, and it's going the other way here. Canadiens up to a decent number now as the favorite in this game. Anything here on this spot tonight, Jeff?
Yeah, the Wild's recent record against the Canadiens is news to me. This is the first I've heard of it. The market over the last, I don't know, say 3 weeks, 4 weeks, has really, really liked Montreal. They're very popular amongst the sharp crowd. They get steamed almost every night. This one's moved up like 2.5, 3 levels from open, which it's a bit strong for me. I mean, Minnesota, the last few weeks, they've been really injured. They've been getting caved in quite often, frankly. So, yeah, maybe the opener was a little short last night, but this has kind of gone past the point of sanity, in my opinion. I think if you can get anything north of like plus 20 on Minnesota, just seems like a good bet tonight, fading a team that's good but lost their best defensive defenseman last game, Caden Gooley. Not a huge piece mathematics-wise, but if you're somebody that likes X's and O's, he's clearly their best shutdown defender. Without him, they don't play a lot of defense. Anything like plus 20 or better on the Wild, I think, is worth a bet tonight.
Where are you at with Washington? With this incredible goaltending, and they played 10 straight unders, and they're taking on Ottawa, who's on a 15-1-1 underrun. I mean, you have some interesting thoughts here on Washington. That's like, hey, you're winning games, that's great, but talk to me playoff time.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, they're obviously a very good team. They continue to win. Logan Thompson looks, he's Connor Hellebuck East. Frankly.
Yes.
But if you stack up Washington against, the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference, I mean, a team like Carolina, Florida, New Jersey, when Hischier and Markstrom are both healthy, those teams are just such big favorites against Washington in the series. Washington will have home ice, but I just don't see how, they match up against those teams when it comes to playoff time. But, the game tonight, it's pretty much pick 'em everywhere. I think my number is, I think I have Washington a couple pennies favored. So, it completely makes sense. You're not getting any breaks on the under. Like you said, these teams are just playing these 2-1, 3-1 type games, but you're paying a big price to bet under 5.5 tonight. So
yeah.
I wouldn't talk anyone off it, but, you could have laid 15 or 20 last night.
Yeah. Well, you brought his name up, Logan Thompson. I've heard people make the case for him to win the Vezina. He's around 18-1 in that neighborhood. Is that worth a couple of pennies in your opinion?
I mean, he can only really win if Hellebuck gets hurt, I would think.
Okay.
He didn't. I'm not an awards guy, especially the Vezina, which is voted on by general managers. So knowing how many people like or dislike the front office in Washington and Winnipeg would probably help.
Yeah.
But he just was. They rotated him and Lindgren for a long time, so his counting stats like wins just aren't there because Hellebuck plays essentially every single night that's not a back-to-back. So Hellebuck's going to have to turn into Georgiev or get hurt for Logan Thompson to win the Vezina, in my opinion.
Damn. Okay. Interesting. How about a couple late games with some dogs? The Mickey Mantles are out here. Columbus used to come to town and would drink till they couldn't stand up and still beat the Knights. The Knights are a big price at home, and Seattle's also approaching $2. Can you make the case for any of the dogs in the late game?
Yeah, actually, kind of like them both. This Blue Jackets team is really pesky. Got a great nucleus of young kids that are playing well. I think if you can find a 250, it's probably worth a bet. I mean, Vegas obviously one of the best teams in the Western Conference, and far more likely to win than lose tonight. But I think the price is approaching the point where there's some value on Columbus. And then you take a look at Sharks Kraken. I think when the Sharks have Askarov in net versus when the Sharks have Georgiev in net, it's a completely different ball game. I mean, this Askarov looks like the real deal. Laying 85, 90 cents with a team like Seattle feels like just a sick proposition. Give me plus 70 or better on San Jose. I think that's probably a pretty good.
You think there's anyone out there, a team that's fugazi playing over their heads, or a team, and also a team that's underrated?
I don't think people don't talk about this. I just don't think people realize how much better Carolina and Edmonton are than everyone else.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to answer that question.
Okay.
They are, you find 5 or 6 to 1 in the market on these teams to win the Stanley Cup. Carolina gets steamed essentially every single night, and they're an enormous favorite every single night. Edmonton, the same. This Edmonton team looks a better version of last year, the team that was 1 goal away from winning the Stanley Cup. It's just the gap between those two teams, and then like Florida and Dallas, it's bigger than people think. And you see the prices on these teams being so much shorter, and it's absolutely warranted.
Okay.
And, if you want to say Fugazi, one team that I think is just, the Rantanen trade really sucked the life out of them. Yeah. But I think Colorado's a lot worse than the market thinks they are right now. They've lost 4 of 5. I still think there's value on the Blues tomorrow, like plus 65, plus 70. Colorado's metrics have been completely in the toilet the last couple of weeks, and it's not getting any better. If you heard the interviews from Bednar and McKinnon after they traded Rantanen, it feels like this team might start planting the white flag in the ground, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think Colorado they might be up against it here.
Okay. Great breakdown. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Jeff Davis, assistant sportsbook manager here at Circa Sports, does all the NHL numbers with us here on the Progressive Guest Line. So I'll ask you another question here about a future compared to what we're looking at in terms of numbers tonight. But what you just said with Edmonton and Carolina, is there a number out there that exists, do you think, today that would make sense to play them like in a Stanley Cup exacta?
I haven't looked at the future market to give a fair comment on that since Friday night I was buried in it Saturday morning when the Rantanen trade came down. There were still some 10s out on Carolina, which is obscene. I would like to comment on this, but I have not looked at the future prices in the last few days to give a fair answer.
Okay. So tonight, maybe look at the Wild. San Jose at a big price if you can find plus 75 cents out there, and Columbus at a big number, potentially at around plus 250 against the Golden Knights. You're also in charge of the College World Series numbers here, and you love this sport. I don't know how you do it. It's got to just be every day following all these teams. Kudos to you. So is there a team out there that you absolutely love that might have a really good number still to grab as we speak, and that way we can look back like in late May and June and say, yeah, Jeff Davis was all over this team?
I just think Virginia is grossly overpriced when they opened. I still think there's value there. Again, I haven't looked in the last couple of days, but I took 28 and 25 when it came out. I think there's still 16s and 18s out there on them to win the College World Series. I think it's probably good to like 14 or 15. To me, this is clearly the second best team in the country. There's a huge gap from A&M and Virginia to the pack of teams that are behind them. A&M is going to be a monster again. But Virginia, who was essentially top 10 in the country in any offensive category you can think of, returns pretty much their entire lineup. And, the pitching staff, while they don't have a lot of, what you would consider elite arms, they bring back their rotation and a pretty good chunk of their bullpen from last year that was, was good enough with an offense like that for a team that made the Final 8 last year. Clearly the class of the ACC, they're probably going to put up 10, 12 runs a night. They are scary good.
All right. That is dynamite. Jeff, it's been a minute. We always love talking to you. We appreciate the time today. Thanks for hopping on.
You got it, guys.
There you go. Jeff Davis on the Progressive Guest Line, assistant sportsbook manager here at Circa Sports. Good. So if you can grab Virginia right now, high teens, and Jeff put me on Wake Forest a couple years ago at a crazy high number, and they made it to the very end before Paul Skeens got him in like the finale.
Mm-hmm. Getting ready for Big Game 59 with a big deal to match. Save $59 off the VSiN Pro annual subscription. Use code FTM. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. All the betting guides, Super Bowl, March Madness, the prop analyzer, all the great articles and trends, Mackinnon, Nigel, soccer, every sport covered. VSiN.com/subscribe code FTM. And Wes Reynolds on golf. Don't forget, trying for 4 in a row. Hole in one already. $59 off the VSiN Pro annual subscription today. VSiN.com/subscribe, code FTM.
Win Some, Lose Some is next. Impossible trades before the NBA deadline. Again, a future might exist to grab today before the big deals happen.
Those were wild times. Betting squares for the big game has come a long way.
Now with the Circa Sports app, you can select your Circa squares right at your fingertips.
Everyone's played traditional squares at a big game watch party. Here at Circa Sports, we do it a whole lot better.
Select your own squares and as many as you want.
A $1 minimum bet and a $100,000 maximum payout.
And best of all, no more arguing over the squares.
Circa Squares brought to you by Circa Sports, the world's largest sports book at your fingertips.
You spoke, we listened. Introducing the all-new VSiN Watch app. Now, you can watch and listen to VSiN expert analysis live wherever you are. Missed a show? No problem. Catch replays of VSiN's full lineup at any time. View highlights sorted by sport. Or use the search feature to find specific teams and topics you're looking for. And the best part? It's free for a limited time. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. And join us on the Sports Betting Network. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, if you stayed up late, tough loss for OKC. SGA went for 50, but they blew it and got beat by the Warriors, who were plus 350 on the money line. And the Sixers won again, plus 280. I thought 9 was too high with the Kings. And the Sixers take them out, no problem. Sabonis hit a 3 right away again.
I know.
How about that?
I have a question for you, because we're going to get into possible trades in a minute. I have a question about betting the Sixers to make the playoffs today.
Yeah, it appears it's going to happen.
It was a very good week for them.
I know. Keep winning games. Looked like they were dead a week ago. College hoops. Old Dominion plus 485. Virginia Tech 5-1. And forget about cash and tickets. They've been very good. ATS. Illinois, Chicago winning games plus 310. They get it done. A hole in one. Rory McIlroy earlier today, and that paid plus 120. Always you're going to say, sorry?
Yeah, I think it's the first hole in one at Pebble Beach since 2016, I want to say.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
That was making the rounds on social media this week.
Yeah. And I'm always amazed at these lottery tickets and what some people can hit. The last couple of days at Caesars, somebody hit a $17 17-teamer in the NBA. Paid $28,000, I think. Something like that, and another, or $280,000, excuse me. And someone else hit a 13-teamer in soccer yesterday for $11,000. It's crazy. Oh, subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com. Our radio and podcast friends at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Thanks to everyone who sends them in every day. Andre will put these up later. This is great. The most chilled dog of all time, I think it's a beagle. He's on the beach in the sand, and he's laying back, covered in the sand, and then he's got the towel over his head. And so he can sleep and catch some shut-eye. Look at that. Sitting next to the owner, he's got it all figured out. That's great. Isn't that something?
I've never had a dog that would be that chill.
Yeah, right.
They'd be panicking about being in the sand.
True, yeah, good point. These next two are phenomenal. Next level thinking. The dog's been waiting for this the whole time. The owner's playing fetch. He throws it in the corner, and he falls down. The chair gives out, right? The stool. So instead of going to grab the toy, he realizes, uh-oh, this guy's down and out. He can't do anything. And he grabs the snack on the table. Look right for it. I got it. And he played. Oh, the owner fell down? Give me that. And he takes the treat, and away he goes and gets away with it. Next level.
They are far from stupid.
Yep, that is next level thinking, right? And this one is an all-timer. Let's go to Cambodia and Thailand. Elephants have developed the ability to take advantage of their right-of-way by stopping sugarcane trucks. Okay, you pay the toll, right? Hey, oh, wait a second. You have to stop. I'm crossing the road. Let me get a snack while I'm here. It's all calculated.
And they identify the sugarcane truck then.
There you go.
Clearly.
Yeah, right. He knows you're going to stop, I'm going to cross, and then when you stop, I'm going to take the snack.
Oh, they're like geniuses, elephants are.
Right.
Yeah.
How about that?
That is awesome.
Yeah, look at it. There's the other guy around. Okay, can I go? Right? Look at this. I love it. Here comes another one, right? Okay.
Hey, they know what they like.
Yeah, right. Oh, you got to stop. You got to pay the toll. Give me a snack. Incredible. Some lose some. Cavs Heat under. 228 down to 224.5, and Heat from 8 down to 5.5. Cleveland killed them. More on the total in a second. Bad for the books. T-Wolves Suns over 218 up to 224. I think they combined for almost 80 points in the fourth quarter. The Pelicans from 3 down to pick. Lost by 1. And the bad beat. Aaron Running gave it out. They needed 128 points to go over in the second half in the Heat-Cavs game. 78 in the third quarter.
Neither team could miss.
Wouldn't stop in the second half. Yep. Not much happened in the first half as well. That was a tough one.
It was 59-41 at halftime.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Damn. And then the Clippers covered everything but the first quarter.
But the first quarter. But halftime came in. The game came in.
Yep. If you're the kind of player who wants to drop $10,000 or more on an NFL line, the best price in the market. If you're looking for instant in-game bets to be accepted, you need Sport Trade, the app that's revolutionizing sports betting. $4 lines instead of the standard $10. Instant in-game betting and a dedicated concierge player service. Sport Trade delivers a premium betting experience like no other. Live in Jersey, Colorado, Iowa, Arizona, and Virginia. Download Sport Trade today, code VSiN. Get 10% cash back on every wager during your first week. Terms apply. Got to be 21 or older to play. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Nevada sportsbooks lost $2 million on football in December. It's the first month during the NFL regular season that the books have suffered a net loss since November of 2012. Favorites wouldn't stop losing.
No, and all the parlays that came in.
Home dogs were atrocious as well.
Yep. I love me some Tyrese Maxey. Guy's phenomenal. So the week that the Sixers had, all things considered with how many players they were down, no Embiid, no George, no Martin. He was missing action. No Drummond. He missed action as well. And Maxey goes out there back-to-back against the Lakers, who were playing good basketball, and then last night against the Kings, also playing really good basketball, and they won both those games. So at some point here, I don't know how many games they're going to eventually play from now until the end of the season, but they're going to get George back. They're going to get Embiid back. They're on the cusp now of like the play-in area. You know,
Bulls could trade people.
Sure they could. I bet the Sixers today plus 110 to make the playoffs.
Good bet.
They're going to get in. Unless
they'll
Embiid,
be in a play-in round, but that's...
Yeah. It's also a partial hedge that I have on a parlay ticket that's out there. But I do think that if this is a big if Embiid and George can come back and actually play in games enough down the stretch, they'll make the playoffs. So it was enough for me to actually say I'm going to hedge a little bit on this parlay that I have that's open to them, not to make it.
Mm-hmm. Very good. What do you think, a week away from the deadline?
Well, first of all, the deadline comes at the dumbest day imaginable for the NBA.
It is. And that's why we'll talk about it more. It's why I'm really concerned and worried about Adam Silver. Like, how do you not move this? You can't have it the day before Football Friday going into the Super Bowl.
Absolutely not.
And you can't, I mean, it's stupid. Move it up a week or move it back a week. It's nonsense. Anyways, my favorite one out there are all the rumors would be Zach LaVine, who's having a good year till Milwaukee. Middleton goes to Chicago, and Vucevic goes to Golden State.
Oh, that's an awesome deal.
I would love to see that.
I mean, instantly, my reaction is the Bucks. That's absolutely what the Bucks have to do.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of these, I have to see some creativity, and a couple teams get involved.
What would you think about that side for Golden State?
Well, they need help, but I don't know if that's enough. But I just think Golden State makes the playoffs, and maybe that's it. Ingram to San Antonio.
Ingram to San Antonio. Would that be with Fox somehow?
Maybe. They could pull that off. That's one rumor that's out there.
I mean, Paul, if the Spurs were to land Ingram and Fox before the deadline this year, what's their number next year to like win the West or win the NBA title?
Yes.
With Wemby?
Yeah. Strong. Miles Turner to the Lakers. Hachimura to the Pacers and one of their first-round picks.
Okay, to get
Davis saying, I need some size. We have a chance. Yep.
And then they could package that first-round pick probably for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. How about the Sixers? Widely reported, the Sixers could give up that guy that was so good in the Olympics to the Knicks. Yasabule, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That could be a good move for the Knicks as well.
I like him. I think he's a good ball player.
Yeah. And last night they pounded Denver, and after the game, Joker said top five team in the league, they could win it all.
They're really, really good.
But I think the Bulls have to do something. It's enough already.
It is.
What is this just to get in the play-in? You know, be awful or go for it. You know, and every year, are we going to move LaVine? Are we going to move Vucevic? And you hang on to these guys and you accomplish nothing. So maybe the Lakers could get LaVine too. Who knows? But then again, they have these two picks. I don't care about, you can't do this. If LeBron and AD want to make a trade, make a trade. I don't care about 2032 and 2031. Make a deal.
Right. You might go into the toilet for a couple of years, just like you did at the end of Kobe's career. But you have to win right now. You have to strike while the iron. You just have to. You're never going to have another LeBron James on your hands. Well, you are the Lakers, so you might get the best player in the NBA, so I'll take that back. But the combo here of LeBron and AD, you have to win it right now. LeBron's 40.
Yep. So I'd like to make a trade. They can get Turner. I think they'll make a trade, see if they can get this done. But if you have those two draft picks you can give up, and they'll be highly coveted, they should do it.
Now, the Bulls would have to get picks in return with that
there's a lot of stuff
deal,
there,
right? Yeah, okay.
That'd be wild. But it appears Milwaukee's trying to dump Middleton, which is another guy who's just making an obscene amount of money. Not that good. Also got lucky with when he played well and was always hurt.
I hated the trade the day that they sent Drew Holiday to Portland in exchange for Damian Lillard. Other parts were involved. I said they gave up the wrong guy. Middleton can't play.
Yep.
He's always hurt.
Yep.
And then, as a direct result, the Celtics were like, really? Drew Holiday? Okay, we're going to trade for him. Just like you never thought about helping out that team.
Yes, right. How it backfired.
Yeah.
No doubt. So, it'll be fun. Only a week away, but again, gets buried with the bad timing how the league does it.
I know it. Up next, soccer bets with our buddy Steve Wist. The beat man's going to join the program. He has a ton of bets that he likes this weekend in the Prim and also the Championship League. He's going to join the program coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.
Storm.